you all for joining today on Carrie Ann Conversations, Journey to Wellness. I'm so excited for today's guest. We have an incredible guest today. You all know that laughter is the best medicine, right? You've heard that. So today's guest really exemplifies that in her life. She has made us laugh for decades. She's a two-time Emmy-nominated iconic woman. You know her from her role as Miss Fine on The Nanny, yes? Somebody says, I know who you're going live with. And she's a cancer survivor who made wellness a personal mission with her movement, Cancer Schmancer. Let's give a warm welcome to the fantastic and inspirational Fran Drescher. Hello.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
I see.
Hi, doll. How are you?
Hi, Fran.
Here we go. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so good.
I don't see any candles in the background. Ah, you'll never think of me any other way.
I know.
Beautiful.
I will always.
And I love the white flowers. I love white flowers.
Are you a white flower girl too? Me too.
I am. I have a little bit of color, but for the most part, all the flowers are white. And I just, a long time ago, because my house is shades of white and wood tones and things. And my life was very hectic. And my manager at the time said, honey, you got to keep it very simple. It's got to be like a laboratory where you can just feel serene and quiet. And I never forgot that. And it really does. When I walk in, it's like, walking into a cloud, and it's so peaceful. I too much pattern and too much color just upsets me.
That's interesting. I'm the same way. I read this book when I was younger called The Sensual Home, and it talks about how your environment is so important and that you want things that soothe your soul, that don't upset your eyes. It's kind of like the Desiderata, the poem about like, don't be around people who are toxic and have toxic energy. It's the same thing for your home space, which I want to talk to you about because last month. So first of all, let's start here. I want to start with last month. It was so great to see you at your Cancer Schmancer Health Summit.
Thank you so much for participating in that. You have no idea when somebody like you comes forward and shares with authenticity and honesty and vulnerability the things that you yourself have gone through and how you worked your way out to the other side. And it's a work in progress. We're all still learning all the things that we can continue to change, but it just makes such a difference in inspiring other people. And you look so gorgeous, honey.
Thank you. And you look so gorgeous. I mean, you walk the walk because I can tell.
Yes, I do try and walk the talk and be a person of word and deed. All of those disciplines that we have to be mindful of, because it's very easy to slack off. And I try not to do that. And I can tell everybody that's watching firsthand that the deeper a dive you take into removing all of your toxins and carcinogens in your home, the more you are in support of having a healthy immune system. And when you have a healthy immune system, that's not chronically being eroded by all of these environmental toxins, you don't get sick as much, and you feel better. And it's something that you can just take on this challenge yourself. And every time you go to the market and replace things, you start reading labels and you make sure it's eco-friendly and organic, and you will see a difference for you, your family, and your pets, I can assure you.
Yeah, it's amazing. My cat just recently went into an emergency room and she was having asthma, acute asthma attack. So now she has to do some medications and this and that. But what was interesting is we were going to have this discussion about how to detoxify your home, because when I was at your health summit, you called me out on a very toxic candle that I had burning in the background, and it was like smoking. And it's so funny, when I blew it out, I could smell it, and I I realized, and you were like, you need to detox, have you detoxed your home? And I realized I haven't. The honest truth is I haven't, right? So I'm reaching out today to talk to you about that. And my cat, on top of it, is also sort of making sure I stay on this journey because she can't be exposed to anything because it'll cause an attack. So sometimes we don't take care of ourselves, right? But our loved ones.
And also, you know, the universe nudges us.
Oh,
You know, you weren't feeling well, but you didn't really connect it to your environment. And then the universe made the cat sick, and it's forcing you, you keep getting these signs that
yeah.
it's time for you to take control of the things that you bring into the home, which, by the way, tends to be the most toxic place we spend the most time in, more toxic than living across the street from an oil refinery. So, you know, we are, you know, this country especially is in business with the chemical industry. And it's not serving us well. And I wish our elected officials would, you know, pass legislation in the way that the European Union has. But unfortunately, there's just too much profit to be had and not enough connection of dots with how sick a nation we really are. We're one of the sickest nations in the, you know, in the world, according to the, you know, World Health Organization. And we need to grab the reins. But you know what? We can't wait for elected officials to get smart. We just have to get smart for ourselves.
That's right. Doing so today, I would love if you could kind of walk us through what it means to detox your home, because I think there's a lot of people who like me are living with chronic illness. Maybe they haven't even defined it as chronic illness. Maybe they're just struggling with aches and pains, a foggy brain, certain things, allergies, and they don't even realize what's causing it. So what are some of the things?
Because the mean of what we consider healthy is
low?
so low. And we don't even remember what it feels like to feel really healthy and alive. You get that rush of really happiness when your whole body is functioning at an optimal. And everything, you know, mind, body, and spirit has to be in balance. But for the home, we ask people at Cancer Schmancer to detox their home, to follow that program. And that is the in, on, and around you check, choose, and change challenge. So what are you eating? That is key, because we can, just through our purchasing power, dictate everything to become cleaner. If we stop buying it, they'll stop making it. It's that quick a response. Like if we all stop drinking cola today, they'd stop making it tomorrow. To eat a strawberry that's not organic is like eating a sponge soaked in pesticides. And, you know, I see these commercials for eating nuts. Nuts are one of the most heavily sprayed foods with multiple different kinds of pesticides. You know, you really can't touch it if it's not organic.
Also, there's a lot of mold in nuts, right? In some nuts, there's a lot of mold as well, which is something that people have to be careful, not just the chemicals, but the mold.
Yes, exactly. It's got to be extremely fresh. I don't usually buy those from those community barrels and things. But that's just me. I'm always paranoid about everybody else breathing on it and touching it, and are they doing it right? But, you know, definitely what you're eating. When we talk about what are you putting in your mouth? It's all of the food and beverages have to be really organic or biodynamic, which takes it even to the next level, because it's not only not putting chemicals on the food, it's not GMO, but it's also regenerating the quality of the soil when you're a biodynamic farmer, and then all your personal care items, and that includes your oral hygiene. If you're still using a toothpaste that says on the back, "Do not swallow," or call poison control, you gotta walk away from that toothpaste. I mean, it's like, how counterintuitive is that? I'm brushing my teeth every day. The gums are the gateway to so much disease in the body. And they're saying that it has chemicals in it that are toxic. Excuse me, but you can't use that. It has to always just be ingredients that might have grown in your grandma's garden. And you have to have very good oral hygiene. I mean, Peter makes fun of me because I'm constantly flossing, water picking, and brushing. And I use a toothpaste that actually has prebiotics in it to help support the microbiome in my mouth. We have to start thinking about that and realizing that the mouth is connected to the whole body. It's not a separate anomaly like Western medicine, put dentists in a separate category from other doctors that deal with different organs in the body. The mouth is the beginning of your digestive system. It's the gateway to disease, and the teeth. I discourage people from getting root canals, and so many people do. But to me, it seems very antiquated and again counterintuitive, because the teeth have trillions of tiny microscopic holes in it that is, when the tooth is alive, part of the tooth's natural filtration system. But when the tooth is dead and it's sitting in there, just anchored with some kind of cement that, anchors it into the root that they take out, the space where the root was, all those holes are just attracting all kinds of problems for you. And each tooth connects to a different organ, a different meridian. And when you get something wrong with you, whether it be in your breast or your thyroid or your lung or your heart, odds are that specialist is not going to look in your mouth unless it's a functional medical doctor who will immediately look in your mouth. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of that, it's like people, I think it sounds to me, I mean, I can just tell you've learned so much on your journey. I mean, 21 years ago, right? You had uterine cancer, and you're 21 years cancer free.
thank you.
You obviously put so much work and effort into figuring how to live a life where that would not happen, and also spend so much time educating everybody else on how to live a life where something like that would never happen to them. Have you noticed, because for me in my own personal journey with autoimmune, the more I dig deeper into trying to be healthier, the more I realize I have to do. Like people need to realize that wellness is work. Like, just like if you want to build a career, if you want to build a healthy, beautiful life and take care of this incredible
daily practice.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a daily practice. But we're just not taught to do that.
Right.
We live in a society that's basically a throwaway society, an abusive society, and it all goes under the banner of modern and convenient. And that is the biggest lie that has ever been told Americans, because there's nothing modern or convenient about destroying the planet and destroying your health. And we have to start thinking that way, and just, turning our backs on all the things that are ruining it for everyone. I mean, really, humans function like a cancer. They don't want to die, yet they destroy their host, which is our earth. What sense does that make? There's something wrong with our species. And I was watching the Olympics, and I was watching that Nathan Chen dancing so beautifully on the ice, and he won the gold medal. And I thought to myself, our species is capable of doing that dancing like that and moving like that on ice, and also to music that our species created. We have a capability of being so magnificent and so special. But then there's this dark side where our brain can invent things, but we lack the ability to look down the road and see how this is going to impact the planet and at least 7 generations moving forward. And that's a deficiency in where we've evolved to. You know, we can problem solve, but then we don't have the brain capacity, or we haven't been educated to have the brain capacity to think, okay, now wait a minute, is this actually a good thing? I know it may solve one problem, but does it produce 3 others? And even Einstein said, for every step we take forward, we actually take 3 back.
Yeah.
You know,
The journey to wellness is this upward, downward, and it's like backwards, forwards, and it's a process. And I think the one thing that I've learned, like I've been working with Dr. Amen, who was at your health summit. It was so great to see him there. And
wonderful doctor. And he really connects the dots.
Because he was reminding me, as you were saying, as that I think everybody that I speak to in wellness is saying, is that it's all one. It's not compartmentalized. We tend to think of things as small little compartments just because it's easier. It's easier to think of it as a little thing that doesn't affect. But what's so amazing about the body, not only is it all connected, but it also, just like you were talking about, this human spirit that we have that can create music, that can dance, that can do all these beautiful things, art, solve problems. We can also heal ourselves. So for people that are watching that might be in a state of dis-ease, as you mentioned earlier, what's some basic things that they can do that's attainable for them? Because those are the people we want to help the most, so that they get inspired and help each other.
Well, personally for me, I mean, I think that a very big thing is supporting your immune system. And what goes with that is detoxing your home. But if you are going to not deal with your inner pain, if you're not going to put forgiveness in your heart against people that have hurt you or wronged you, or against yourself, then it doesn't matter what you do. You're going to slowly poison yourself with inner pain and the poison that creates in your body. So when we talk about mind, body, and spirit balance, it's very important that we start to not compartmentalize. It's not just about, shopping differently, losing weight, quitting smoking. All of that is very important. But you also have to develop a spirituality. And you have to get out of your head and get into the moment. And sometimes we ruminate in our head. We replay arguments or conversations, or we are anticipating. We're in our head in the future with something that hasn't even happened yet. And when you discover that, you realize, oh my God, how long have I been sitting here doing this? Then you have to look around the room that you're in with the wide-eyed wonder of a child, and look at things, the mundane that you see every day and you no longer even notice, or the details of a corner between the ceiling and the wall, and see what it looks like. And then you're in the moment again. And you may have to do that several times a day, or even more, until you get into the habit of making your life a constant meditation, where you're constantly bringing yourself back into the now. Because when you do that, your body is able to be more balanced. The brain is a very intrusive roommate in this house.
Yes, it is.
And it thinks that it's the most important part, when actually they're all important. You know, you'd be in trouble without your liver, your kidney, your heart. Everyone's important. Everything has its own consciousness. And most of the time, what you think is not true. and it's being, you know, filtered through a lens of your personal life story,
Right. Which
which
is
is
often
not really, huh?
sometimes that life story also that you're filtering through is not even your own. It's like your parents or society.
Absolutely.
All
The
other.
whole point of the journey of trying to be Zen
Mhm.
is to detach from that story and just be an observer of this beautiful planet, to make kindness and compassion your compass, to realize that every living thing is you,
Yeah.
and we're all one and the same. You know, I don't use pesticides in my house. And so periodically I get these little bursts of bugs. And, you know, ants are a fascinating civilization.
I love ants. I watch them all the time. Do you watch them carry their dead back home? They make, and then if somebody's sick, they all gather around it like a prayer circle and they vibrate. It's amazing.
And they come to each other, they talk to each other, and then they'll either both go in the same direction, or they'll meet, they'll greet, they'll maybe exchange information, and then they'll go in opposite directions as they were back on their course. And they're surprisingly, they're meat eaters. They eat meat. They're obviously eating microscopic, you know, much smaller bugs.
Mhm.
But if I leave, you know, like the packaging for chicken or anything in my sink, they're going to smell it, and they're going to want to eat that. But my dog has a kibble that's wild salmon. They're not interested in fish, only meat. And it's so fascinating because you don't really think of, and they need water.
Yes, they do need.
So they're always, everything on this planet, this is a water planet. We all need water. We should protect the water and respect the fact that all life on this planet is interconnected and has a purpose. When I go to Africa on safari, I can't believe how clean the landscape is. You know, you hardly ever see any kind of defecation from the animals. You rarely see a dead animal. And that's because there's this wonderful ecosystem of life
Mhm.
that eats it, eats the bones, eats it all, everything.
Yeah.
And that's why they exist.
Right. Yeah. I'm in many cultures besides American culture, you can see the natural cycle of life happening, right? It's much more present. Here, we're so far removed from it, right? It's just,
Yeah.
we live this life of what we think is luxury, and it feels good and it feels convenient, as you mentioned earlier, and it's so simple. However, we're destroying ourselves. And then what I'm learning and what you've learned and what a lot of people that are watching have learned is the road back from a dis-ease state is very difficult. So one of the things
It's easier to do this. It's easier to prevent than deal with being sick, because when you get that call, you know, you can't turn back the hands of time. At that point, it's too late. You've got quite a battle ahead of you.
yeah,
And loss is profound. We lose loved ones all the time. And it's not necessary to lose them from an advanced cancer. Um,
yeah.
we need to change up things and not wait for people to tell us, you know, we can't trust manufacturers to do the right thing.
How
There's
do we
too much money involved.
what are, like, for the beginner who's trying to detox their home and like really hears what you're saying and is resonating with all of this, what are some of the things that they can look for that they can remember?
Definitely deal with your toothpaste.
First,
Deal with your, if you wear deodorant,
yeah,
you know, it should be all natural. It should not have aluminum chlorohydrate in it. They
okay.
find that people with brain diseases like Alzheimer's have tremendous amounts of aluminum in their body. I don't use aluminum foil to cook anymore because it gives off noxious fumes that are actually not healthy. You have to line it with parchment paper if you need to use it, but I don't. A lot of the things that we thought, I mean, I grew up with my dad barbecuing and wrapping up baked potatoes and corn on the cob and stuff like that, and we were all eating it. But that generation, he has Parkinson's, and a lot of their friends have dementia. Right. So, and that's actually not normal. It's not something that comes with age. It comes with environmental exposure. So, we have to think about all that. I would say don't use your microwave oven anymore. I would say turn off your Wi-Fi at night. Mm-hmm. I installed an on-off switch next to my bed. And the last thing I do is turn off the Wi-Fi, and all night I can sleep without those electromagnetic fields buzzing around my head, discombobulating my natural energy field, which is in perfect harmony with the Earth's energy field. So, listen, these are all suggestions. You may think it's not for you. And this is a very personal journey. I'm just sharing what seems to work for me. The food in my house is always organic. And I realize that organic can be more expensive, though it's readily available at Costco and Walmart. But I would rather have an organic chicken once a week, and the rest of the week, eat vegetarian, rice and beans, and stuff like that.
Because we started with candles and stuff. I must know, because I have a lot of friends.
Don't use anything that has long-lasting smells. I see these commercials. I don't want to name names unless you give me permission to, but they show them spraying the carpet, spraying the couches right next to the family dog, and they're saying this cleans the air, it clears the air. That's BS. It's full of phthalates, which mask the air. And, the more you expose yourself to products that have smells to them, you're asking for a lot of problems, including bladder cancer. When I'm in a car, like a Uber or something, and they've got that pine thing hanging from the rearview mirror, I ask them to put it in their glove compartment. I can't even smell it. It's so horrible. Once you detox yourself, you won't be able to use things like candles like that, or plug in room deodorizers or sprays for your furniture. You won't be able to put those things in your laundry that is supposed to make, your laundry smell like springtime. It's all carcinogens and toxins. It's eroding your immune system. It's aiding and abetting in your getting ill. Mm-hmm. And so, those are the things that even perfume. Now I use an organic.
Can you use essential
oil?
Is it okay? And what about essential oils in a diffuser? Is that okay?
Yes, I do that too.
Okay.
And you can get those organic as well. And then around you, what are you cleaning with? We have bottles, the plastic bottles that were once, with seventh generation stuff, which is eco-friendly.
Okay.
But we'll stretch it and then fill it with white vinegar, white vinegar and peppermint oil, which is an antibacterial, or alcohol with peppermint essential oil, or you can do lemon and water and
tea tree oil. Does tea tree oil work? It has a
tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is a antibacterial too. That's good, and also baking soda. It can be your scrubbing thing. You mix it with a little bit of water, and lemon juice is very good too. White vinegar will clean all of your surfaces that right now you may be using a window cleaner for, that's blue and has a very strong smell. And it's so much cheaper that what you may, for the time being, pay a little extra for in food, you can reduce your expenses by not buying all of this stuff. Now, I have a dishwasher that's always telling me to refill the glass rinse. And it was frustrating to me because if I found a glass rinse that was eco-friendly, it was also in plastic. Or if it wasn't eco-friendly, then it might have been in a box. But it was really a conundrum to me. Somebody said to me, don't buy it anymore. Just fill it with white vinegar. That will clean your glasses just as good as anything else, if not better. So as soon as I finish the last of my glass cleanser, I'm going to just switch to organic distilled white vinegar, which is so useful for so many things.
That's great. You can cook with it too, right?
Yes.
So that's, you can ingest it, then maybe that's sort of the level, the barometer.
Totally. You should be able to eat anything and not have it poison you.
That's good.
And you may not like the taste, but you should be able to. So, and it not cause you harm. I mean, it's not designed to be food, but it should not cause you harm. You shouldn't have to call poison control.
Yeah, that's good. This is amazing. First of all, I can't believe that we were just talking about ants. This is why I love you so much. You and I went on a whole thing about ants because I genuinely love ants. I just love them because I also don't anything.
I'm with you, and it connects you to the natural world. To be mindful that these are living creatures that have a very sophisticated civilization, and not just dismiss them because you're bigger, that you could just kill them or wash them down the sink or, destroy them. These are the ways that we can begin to change culture to become less abusive and more loving. Right. And if we are kind to something as small and vulnerable as an ant, that'll begin to translate into the kindness that we show each other, because aggressive acts are not exclusive to just one thing. It becomes part of our desensitizing and normalizing brutality. And then we see within our own species how we hate, how we abuse children, how we abuse anybody that's different or vulnerable. I'm engaged right now in getting past the Violence Against Women bill. That's a bipartisan bill, and I just was asked for a quote, I said this is another step closer to creating a more female-friendly society.
Yeah. And
until we reach that goal, there is no rest for the weary.
No, I saw a TED talk about, I think it was called The End of Man or The Decline of Man. And it was talking about how the feminine is, the world has become, we've evolved to the place where feminine energy is what can lead us, because we're no longer in the brute strength survival stage of evolution of the human species. We're in this phase now where people are, it's about conversation, it's about thinking, it's about encompassing, it's about being able to multitask in your mind and understand people of different races and cultures and backgrounds and genders and sexuality.
And celebrate it.
We're
all different threads in the human experience. And without every single thread, there wouldn't be the fabric of life that we live.
Women as the creators and women as leaders, and femininity. Actually, we should say feminine, because it's not women necessarily. It's that feminine energy that is there.
Absolutely.
In both men,
absolutely.
Everyone in between. It's just about tapping into compassion.
Tapping into that, yes.
Oh,
And, you know, I once saw the Dalai Lama speak. And, you know, someone asked the question, you know, will there ever be world peace? And his response was, world peace is not a world without problems. World peace is a world where we agree to solve our problems peacefully.
oh, beautiful. That is amazing.
And in today's Buddhist, because I read every day Buddhist wisdom, and it said that the Buddhist or the Buddha sees both good things and bad things as positive opportunities. And I always ask myself, why is this being presented to me if it's a bad thing? And how can I benefit from it? How can I learn from it? How can I change and grow through it? So, you know, that's
the best way to live. That's why you look the way you do. Last night, I watched the pilot episode of The Nanny, and I have to tell you, as beautiful as you were then, you are more beautiful now, and you look.
Thank you. That's so sweet.
It's amazing. You're such an inspiration, and I know you have to go, so I could talk to you forever, but I look forward to speaking to you again soon. And I want to thank you so much, Fran, for being here today. It's wonderful.
I so appreciate that, and thank you for asking me on this show and sharing my views on all of these things. And I hope that your viewers embrace the Cancer Schmancer Detox Your Home program. And it's a lifestyle, but it's fun for the whole family to embrace. And you'll see how much better you are and how you learn how to self-care.
Yeah, and you're really helping people take their own health into their own hands, which is such an empowerment.
Which is where it belongs.
Right. Thank you. So for everyone out there watching, you can get more information at cancerschmancer.org. And there's a lot of information. I mean, there's so much, you guys. So check it out because you will find a wealth of tools to have a better life. So thank you, Fran. I look forward to seeing you soon. Mwah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Be well. Take care.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing conversation with Fran. She is such a spectacular woman. She knows so much about so many things that you all could see. So I just want to recap what we discussed. We really kind of just went deep into detoxing your home and what that entails. Not only detoxing your home, but detoxing your life, detoxing the way you think, detoxing the world in which you live that could cause dis-ease. She talked about the foods you eat, the things you put on your skin, your beauty products, the home environment in which you live, and the thoughts that go into your head. As we discussed, health is a multi-dimensional, taking care of your health is a multi-dimensional endeavor, and it's doable. I want you all to know that it's possible to have wonderful health, and you just put a little effort. You have to have these conversations. I hope that today helped you learn a little bit about some of these topics. And yeah, I think that was first of all, I'm just blown away that the nanny and I were discussing ants and our love for ants, but that just says a lot. Okay, so I want to thank you all for being here today, and I hope you learned something on your own personal journey to wellness. Next week on Carrie Ann Conversations, which is February 17th, which is 3 days after Valentine's Day, I will be talking about getting your mind, spirit, and career, similar to what we were talking about with Fran today. We want to get it all in sync to help you achieve better overall wellness. And this is going to be a conversation with a man who helped develop WebMD. He's head coach and head of brand at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. His name is Jim Curtis, and he has an incredible story. He also dealt with a mystery illness when he was much younger and found his way back. And I think it's really interesting to hear a man's perspective on dealing with invisible illness and what it was like for him. And we will also tap into nutrition because this school is one of the best in the world. All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. Stay well and be kind to yourself and have a beautiful day. Thank you all. Take care, guys.